welcome to Miss Martin Muses and Pub Crawl. It's another afternoon of pub crawl with some serious daytime drinking with none other than Wicked Virtue. Hello, welcome to Miss Martin Muses.
Hello, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited. We haven't chatted in a while. It's been, gosh, over a year since we were on a
Yeah,
stream together.
yeah, we were on the Talk Nerdy to Us.
Yes, with Mara. That was great.
Well, those were good times. Yeah, and I know that you've been really busy lately. If you're just looking at your timeline and you had the pirate show, you of course have your own channel that's now taken off. So that's
Yes,
really
we got to get you to 1K. Hey, everyone in that chat there, make sure you hit subscribe, okay?
oh.
You should.
Thank you for
I thought you were at 1K. I looked and I was like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, because
Blasphemy.
they partially monetize you at 500 where you can get super chat. So I joined the YouTube partner program, but they won't let me with AdSense or some of the perks of being monetized. So you have to get to 1,000 for that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they changed it. Well, at least, the super chats are, I mean, I don't make much from the ads. So,
Yeah. Well, no,
super
and
chats are more important.
I certainly appreciate the super chats and all that. But yes, but
Oh, yeah.
once you get to 1,000, I've heard that about AdSense as well. But then you're kind of there. You don't have
Mhm.
to worry about that or have that in the back of your head. I've got 944 now, so would definitely love to seal this deal because I'm going to have the party of the century once it finally does happen. So
Yes,
yeah,
that 1K
everyone.
celebration is the best. I loved mine. I had so much fun on that.
Yay, good times. Okay, well, look who's good times too. We have Trey Courtney in the house. Hello,
Hi, Trey.
Trey. We all
He's a
know
big
Trey.
Buffy fan, so he'll be saying a lot in chat.
Ooh, very nice, and helping us with modding. He is showed up as a villain in our D&D game. Steve Kenobi, with his permission, wrote him in, and he's our nemesis right now. It's hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah, he threw me and Mara out of a plane. It was terrible, but we had parachutes.
It's
We
good.
lived, but now we're trying to hunt him down. Hello, America's 2001. Don't mind me, just here to try. Aw, no, we're all happy here. Oh, look, it's you. What up, Americas? Well, hello. Everyone's saying hi. Sean Sue's here. We have Snorta Poopus Poober. We love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. It is Soul Assassin. Hello, Wicked in chat. Trey
Oh.
Courtney says, I'm actually waiting for my death. Not gonna lie. We're gonna make it. We're gonna
Make it
make it
epic.
epic. I think it might happen this Sunday. We met your father this week, but I don't know if Mara's told you yet, so I'm gonna let it sit there until she gives you the spoilers. But here with Wicked Virtue, she has chosen for her pub something that goes very well with the theme of today's show, and it is none other than the bronze.
To the surprise of nobody in the chat that knows me. Oh, I
Yes.
love it. So
Well,
many good stuff there. Oh, you want me to tell you about the bronze, huh?
yeah, go tell us about the bronze. Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry, I'm all excited. Whenever it comes to Buffy, I just talk a lot.
Oh, go for it.
So a lot of really important stuff happens in the show here, but it's just cool. Like I would love for a place like this to be real because I was
Mhm,
telling Miss Martin uses before we started that if you guys remember back in the 90s and early 2000s when shows, especially WB, because this was on the WB network, they would have bands and singers come on and actually be performing. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't live, but it looked live on the show anyways.
mhm.
Have them performing, and this was like that cool 90s grunge stuff that they used to play and like alternative rock. And it was just so cool, especially watching it when I was a teenager. I was like,
Mhm.
man, I want to go to the bronze so bad. Like they would just be sitting there doing homework and then get up and start dancing. And like, demons and vampires would bust in and Buffy had to kick their butt. They would just be like it was just so much crazy stuff happened here at the bronze. It's throughout the whole show too. Like the bronze just sticks. It's like it was the place as I forgot exactly how Cordelia puts it, which I'm surprised, but she was like the it girl, the popular girl. She's like anybody who's anybody goes to the bronze. Like that's what it was. Like it was the hot spot for Sunnydale and Buffy. Loved it
Oh,
so much.
son of a gun. The memories.
The memories, and I've never even been there.
Yes. I haven't even been there. I haven't even watched the show, but I'm loving hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Miss Martin Muses to be a Buffy fanatic, just wait. She's gonna start and be like, "Oh," 'cause it's so good. The writing was just fantastic. Yeah, Azar, I'm pretty sure the Cranberries were on Charmed. That was another one of the shows that always had, a lot of live acts. Yes,
Mhm,
Shay, perfect 90s bar. It was. The scene was just it was so cool.
mm.
Um, but I forgot what I was just gonna say. Lost my train of thought. Thanks, Trey. Just kidding. Blame Trey. Uh totally lost my train of thought
It
now. Oh, well, on to the next topic. It'll come back
it'll
to
come in.
me.
Well, and that segues us into the actual show. So, tell us a little bit about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What was the premise? What's your history with it? How did you first start watching it?
Okay, so Buffy is about a girl, teenage girl. A lot of people that haven't seen the show probably seen the movie, which I give props to the movie. I like the movie, but the show had so much more time, 7 seasons. So 7 seasons versus an hour and a half, they have so much more time to get character development and everything.
Yeah.
Um, But so it's a 16-year-old girl. She's 16 when she's called upon. It's the Slayer is one girl in all the world that goes against the demons and the forces of darkness. She's got partial like demon strength, I guess, but she doesn't have it all of her life, right? So when one Slayer dies, the other one is called upon. So out of nowhere, she just like okay, she's got the strength, and they have a watcher who is assigned to them, and her first in the movie, her watcher dies, I think, I actually can't remember.
Oh.
But in, Buffy, the show, she has Giles, who's amazing, played by Anthony Stewart Head.
Oh,
You
hell yeah.
you know who that is? He's been in a few things.
Yeah, he was in
He
Ted Lasso, wasn't he, if I'm right? Or
I
maybe
think
not.
so, it sounds familiar.
British
But
dude.
yeah. Yep, British, yeah, he's fantastic. They just so one of the things that I find just absolutely amazing about this show is the whole ensemble cast, like, the energy, the chemistry between all of them was just insanely good, and you can't I'm sure everyone has at least one show where they feel this way. You can't replicate that if you tried. It was just it was great. And so she's called upon, and she's think about when you were 16, like, if so okay, it's up to you to save the world now. Like, "What? I'm just trying to get my geometry homework done. What are you talking about?" Like, so that's kinda how she was. She was very sassy and, like, and that's what was different because a lot of Slayers before her were like, "Okay, the task is this," but she was trying to have a life too. Like, at one point, she tries to be a cheerleader. She tries to have a life, right? She wants to, go on a date and do normal teenage girl things, but at the same time, she's gotta pay attention to save the world, literally. Um, and she dies a couple of times and ends up coming back. It's another thing that's great about Buffy is that they did a good job putting real emotions in with it, like if someone dies and tying in, like, there was a substance abuse episode where it's something more like these guys are getting injected with stuff for the swim team that makes them swim better, but they turn into, like, creatures from the Black Lagoon. That's what it looks like. But it's the episode is supposed to like, center around the substance use problem with, like, college and high school kids is at the time, and I'm sure it's still like that, but the '90s. Yes, she saved the world a lot. That was on her
Yeah.
grave.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
it's
love the
just
fact that you said she died and came back a lot. I mean, like,
yeah, and
how
then he's
great.
yeah, he saved the world a lot, exactly. Um, and you with this show, you love all the characters. She has her quirky friends that they're called the Scooby Gang, which I love it. They call themselves the Scoobies because they help her, and that's
Uh-huh.
another difference that she has from other Slayers, because normally they just go at it alone. And then they have their watcher who helps guide them, but she had a band of people helping her doing research. Like Willow was the computer nerd who ends up turning into a witch, and then um there's Xander, who's just like a regular guy, but he's so important to it. Like the cast is just absolutely amazing. And my favorite thing I'll say about Buffy is that she's this all-powerful woman, but she has so many flaws. She screws up, she gets people killed, she gets hurt. Like they show her human side. Like she's human. She's not a Mary Sue, and that is something I love about her too. She is one of the perfect examples of how you write a strong female character.
Wow. And Smartpoops is talking about Willow. Willow, the I confess to reading the RPG post Willow effect era set on a small island off the coast of Virginia. Oh my gosh. So you actually did some role playing game. And what is the post Willow effect? I guess, am I missing something? And did I not understand?
Post Willow effect era. So is that after? You mean like after she so spoiler, she turns into Dark Willow when she loses somebody very important to her. She's a very strong witch. She becomes and then she just snaps and becomes Dark Willow, which
Hmm.
then Buffy has to go against her. It's her best friend. Like they all have to go against her. And it's like this she used to be sweet little innocent book nerd Willow. And then she becomes the big bad of that season.
Mhm.
And then she ends up, like, kind of rehabilitated not kind of, she does. She's rehabilitated and she's better. I guess that's what they're talking about because she yeah.
Yeah, Goth Willow,
I
Dark
mean,
Willow.
basically, if you look up Dark Willow, yeah. Exactly.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's oh god, I can't wait. You have to message me when you start this. Like, I know you probably have so much stuff to watch because I get so many, people telling me, "You need to watch this, you need to watch that." And I just, like, don't have the time, but if you start Buffy and Angel, I gotta know your thoughts. You gotta let me know.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be thinking about that. It's definitely on my list. Yeah, Google's Dark Willow, everybody. Well, yeah, go for it. Everybody Google. Well, if I recall correctly, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer was one of the first shows that actually had a relationship with a human and a vampire. Am I right about that?
I think so, yeah, and they did it they did it wonderfully. It was, oh, my favorite season. All of so I like all of it, right? I
Mhm.
would say season 6 was a bit weaker because that's when they went from digressing a bit here, but that's when they went from so season 5 was when WB canceled them.
Oh.
So Joss Whedon and the writer decided to go out very dramatically, and this was one of the times that Buffy dies. She has to jump into this, like, ball of energy and save the world, and then she's dead, and they're all heartbroken, and that's when she has that gravestone that says she saved the world a lot, and then in season 6, Willow's diving more into her magic and finds a way to bring her back. So she's, like, actually dead. It's not like, one of the times she's resuscitated. She dies for, like, 5 seconds, and then she's CPR brought back, so that's more realistic, but no, this time she was literally in a grave,
Oh my
and they bring her back with magic, so they end season 5 very dramatically, and 6 was, like they went from that to it's I think it's CW now, I forget what it was called back at the time, though, and it was a weird transition, but, they eventually found their footing, but season 2 and I'm saying that because I don't want it to dim down the rest of the seasons, but for me personally, season 2 is my favorite. Like the emotional impact, the stakes, and everything in that season is just incredible. And Buffy and Angel, who are he's the vampire and she's the Slayer. Like it's Giles says this in the show, like a vampire in love with a Slayer. It's rather poetic, actually, like because that's like just an insane
Mhm.
thought. Like she's supposed to fight them, but he has a soul. Yeah, UPN Americus. He has a soul so he isn't exactly like other vampires, so that's the big thing, but it's still just an insane thought that, not only does a vampire love a human, but she's literally her job is to kill them.
Yeah.
So it's like a very, very forbidden romance, but it's such a wonderful, like you see, you're like, oh, when you watch it, you get all girly about it. Like it's just so great. And
Yeah.
then he ends up turning evil because the thing with Angel is he was cursed with the soul. And if he feels one moment of happiness, true happiness at all, he loses that soul and then becomes Angelus, which was his normal, like vampire demonic form. And he is I would say probably the most evil, big bad that the show has ever seen, and that's so hard to watch as a viewer because you love Angel and you love Angel and Buffy together, and then he goes evil, and you're like, "Oh my god,"
Mm.
and he is just, like, such a good villain, though, like, David Boreanaz killed it, um so yeah, we see that, and that's all in season 2. You go from, "Oh, yay, Buffy and Angel are finally together," and then, well, it's with her, we'll just say that he experiences that one true moment of happiness, and so she's blaming herself, people get killed, she has a hard time killing him because she sees his face and she's like, "That's the love of my life." Oh, it is so good.
Oh
Season
my
2
god.
is just spectacular.
Yeah.
You will, Americus. You're gonna
Yeah,
cry and get
Mary's
some
gonna get all
tissues.
girly about it, and yeah, sort of himself, he had said earlier he worked in the library and felt like it was hell or above hell rather, and of course I would identify with gals. I was a middle-aged library type. I own swords. Yeah. Angelus is the best villain. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he was. And that's what's so, like, bittersweet about it because you love him as the hero, and then, "What's up, Malty?"
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, you just you love it, and then he's bad, and you're like, "Oh my god, don't kill him, but he's being such a bastard, kill him. But
Mm.
wait, don't." Like, that's the feelings that you feel, and I don't wanna the season finale for 2 will just make your heart explode, like, you might shed a tear.
Oh.
I'm not gonna ruin that, but it is a powerful finale.
Yeah.
We'll
Now,
just say that.
did they fall into a bit of the trap I've seen before where the man vampire romance type becomes so popular that it overshadows the show? Did that ever happen? Did they ever have to balance that back?
No, not really. I think that, they did a great job because they did Monster of the Week formula too, so there was
Mhm.
always, a big bad of the episode that they had to take care of. Even when but they would have an overall big bad, like, of the entire season. Like, season 1 was the master, the creator of vampires is who that was. And then season 2, it ended up being, Angel, with Spike and Drusilla, who are 2 other fantastic actors. Spike is James Masters or Marsters, sorry, I always say
Mhm.
that, James Marsters. And he is my favorite vampire in cinematic history, and I told him that to his face, and he was so, like, proud
Aw.
of it, and he's like you could see him beaming. I was like, "Listen, if you watch, you know what I mean. The character development is insane for his character." Um,
Aw.
but yeah, no, they never had that issue because, like I said, they did very well with the Monster of the Week formula. And Angel wasn't in every single episode, when he was, like, a part of the show. He was in a lot because he was a part of the gang, but, especially once he was, evil, he wasn't in exactly in every episode, but no, I think they found a good balance, honestly.
Okay. Now, Trey Courtney mentions if anything, Spike became more popular. That name sounds familiar.
Oh, you wanna
Who's
hear a
Spike?
funny story about that? Spike is James Marsters. He's the one that looks like, Billy Idol. The vampire
Okay.
that looks like Billy Idol, because they even make a joke about that where, someone says, "Okay, you Billy Idol wannabe," or something like that, and Buffy's like, "Well, actually, Billy Idol got his look from Spike." Like, they make that joke. So Spike was very popular. He was only supposed to be like a villain in season 2, but he became so popular they kept him in the entire series, and he even ends up going over onto Angel.
Yeah.
He was and a funny story, I heard James Marster on a podcast talking about this, that, Joss Whedon got, like, aggressive with him at one point and was like, slammed him up against the wall and was like, "I can take you out whenever, I can kill your character whenever," like, because he was so mad at the popularity of Spike or something, who
Oh my.
knows? But yeah, pretty intense.
Wow. Well, you never know. Well,
Yeah, well, we've heard some stuff about Joss, so when I heard that, I was not even slightly surprised. Um
oh yeah, when it came out afterwards with the Justice League situation. I think that was when it came out after
Yeah, yep, he did, and then Cordelia, her name is Charisma Carpenter, the actress who played Cordelia in Buffy, who, I think she might have been the first actor that backed up his claims. What is his name? Was it Ray Parker? I forgot his name, the one who played,
the oh gosh.
I'm picturing him right now, but for some
Yeah.
reason my brain's not saying his name. Trey! He's like,
Yeah, Trey, help us
"Google
out. We have
Trey!"
normies here. At least I'm a normie. I've only really seen the movies, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and it was a very unfortunate. And America says, "Odd reaction to a popular character, but okay." Oh, yeah, Ray Park is Darth
I
Maul. Yeah,
know.
it's not
Yeah,
Ray
not
Park,
Ray
no.
Park, sorry, Ray
Ray
Fisher, thank you,
Fisher,
I
thank
knew it was
you.
Ray, okay, I knew it was Ray, leave me alone.
We were close.
Yeah, we were close. But yeah, because she ended up getting pregnant near the end of Angel, and I totally not that I wouldn't believe her anyways, but I believe her claims because of what they did to Cordelia's character. I won't get too in depth in it because I definitely do want you and anyone in the chat that hasn't watched Angel or Buffy to watch it. But her growth was amazing. She was absolutely wonderful in Angel, and then the writing just got real bad, like where you could tell that they got mad at her. Well, Joss maybe. So yeah, she like made claims that allegedly when she got pregnant, he like asked her if she was gonna keep it and all this stuff, and he was just very nasty towards her. And I believe it because like if you watch Angel, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You see where it happens, and you're just like, wow.
That's incredibly petty of him. My goodness.
Yeah. It is. He didn't ruin his show because Angel was wonderful. Um, but the one season and the way they ended it, I was not happy with it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
he got his
unfortunate.
comeuppance. I don't know what he's gonna be really doing. I guess eventually the chickens come home to roost.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, such foul language for a polar bear. A poopy doo-doo head. Hey, Gilkman. Thanks for
What's
being
up,
here.
Thomas?
Yeah, he sounds like a French shower. Yes, he is. We're in season 4 at least, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Just Weed's a male feminist, so yeah, male feminists are the worst, quote, unquote,
Yeah.
"male feminists." Yeah. Yeah, I think that Wicked would definitely agree with you, Gilkman. She's almost got me ready to fire it up. I've got
Oh, do
currently
it.
a February challenge I'm doing right now. I've decided to do different movie challenges every month because everyone does it in October. But what about the rest of the month? So I'm on some romance movies, but since it is a
Oh,
month.
you want romance? The first 2 seasons of Buffy will get you.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I could get that there because one of the parts of the challenge is fantasy, and technically it is
Yeah.
fantasy, and with it being a monster of the week formula, I think that that would probably lend itself to watching, so it's not like you feel like you have to make a huge commitment and binge watch.
Yeah, no, and I think so. I mean, I actually have the DVDs, which if you get into the show, try to find the DVDs because they ruined the special effects on the Blu-ray. I won't buy the Blu-ray. The man, I forgot his name, who did the special effects. So they did this really cool thing where so every week she's killing vampires, right? But they're like, this is like a teenage, younger teenagers can watch this, and they didn't just want like a body count, like all these bodies just piling up on the screen or like blood and all that. So they came up with dusting them. So when she does it, they turn to dust, and it's so cool. Even for the time back in the 90s, like now it looks cool because we see so many times that special effects just they have not gotten better. That's for
Mm-mm.
sure. This like if you just look up now, just like a vampire being dusted on Buffy, you're gonna be like, wow, it looks really cool. So they went with that. But unfortunately, for some reason, when they did the Blu-ray remaster, they made it smoke instead of dust, and it just does not look right. They
Huh.
changed like the lighting and everything. And the man who did it originally, who did the dusting of the vampires, of those effects, was like, they ruined my work. He said that like and they did because I watched a video showing it side by side, and I was like, oh yuck. How could you touch this like this? What did you do? So I'm so happy that I have the DVDs. But I think Trey would know this. What's up, Keck? Um, I think it's on Hulu. I don't have Hulu, but I'm pretty sure that Buffy is on Hulu for anybody interested in watching.
Mm.
But if you
Okay,
get into it,
'cause
I highly suggest getting the DVDs, not the Blu-rays, if you can find
yeah.
them.
Well, that's too bad because usually you can watch the Blu-rays. They just need to leave things alone because I don't know. Even if maybe the special effects aren't the greatest, it it's history. You wanna have it being let people see the what it was, and in this case, it sounds like it ruined something. I mean, people just
Yeah.
need to just know how
Mhm.
to chill and just let it alone, and then there's dust, yes. You could probably find them secondhand pretty easily.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
some of mine I found at a flea market when I went to collect them because you asked me this earlier and we just got into a whole different conversation, but I got into Buffy after it probably was a couple years after the final season aired. Um and I had no idea. I actually thought that it ended after 5 because it was such a dramatic ending, and I was like, "No," like I cried. I was so sad. I was like, "No, they
Oh.
killed Buffy. Come on." I was also a teenager, but I was so sad. And then like I'm looking up something online, and this was before we deep like the way we can look up stuff now because this was, like I don't know, 10 years ago or so. and I seen season 6 and 7. I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait, there's more?" And I went to FYE and found those. But the other seasons, I have 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 that I got at a flea market, and it's like those collectors ones, like the big thick boys, you know what I'm talking about, that slide
Mhm.
into the, like, they're you pull them all out separately, but they have that nice collector's, case that they go in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got them. I actually have, I have 2 copies of season 1 and 2 because my mom's boyfriend eventually was like, "Ah, here, take these." He loves this
Aw.
show. I think 1 through 3, actually. He's like, "Here, take them, you little rascal. You love this
Aw.
show." Yeah. Yep.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yeah, and I'll keep it. 1 especially 2, that is my favorite, I actually have it in my background usually. Yeah, I have the display because I love the art image. It's just, like, kinda like angel caressing her, like, neck, but, like, in a seductive way. It's a hot cover.
Ooh, nice,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and unfortunately, I think as things become more and more digital, we're gonna lose that. It's lost art. The way we lost the art of the CD cover,
Yeah, I
when everything
know.
went digital. I don't know. Though some people have speculated that they're not really gonna be able to get rid of DVDs, but, I don't know. Either way, I get worried, so I make sure I collect the
Yeah.
ones I really love because well, not only that, sometimes they've been doing shenanigans with them and editing the
Yeah,
movies.
editing things out. Yeah, they did that. I
Mhm.
heard they did that heavily with Stranger Things. Apparently,
Oh,
they edited out certain parts, like, I don't know if you watch Stranger Things, but, like, where, when he's, like, taking pictures of her, Nancy what's his name? Jonathan. And it's really creepy, and I remember watching that, like, when it aired on
oh,
Netflix, like,
yeah.
apparently, they edited that out of, like, the Blu-rays and DVDs now, and I'm like, "What?" 'Cause they, like, want you to forget that he was a creep, 'cause they end up together, and I'm like, "What? How'd you remove that?" Like,
Uh,
I can't confirm it, but I've heard that that is what happened. And
yeah, 'cause
yeah,
no, I
Malty
recall
the
that. I watched the first
yeah,
2 seasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was good. Yeah, Malty, that was the gentleman. Actually, I don't think Mara will care if I say this. She drew a picture of them and she sent it to me, and I was like, "That was good." Mara's a Buffy fan as well.
Mhm.
She drew a picture of the gentleman that they they won an Emmy or something or were nominated for that episode. So this episode was in season 4 when she was in college, and it was they all had to be silent, and I remember watching Allison Hannigan, that's who played Willow. You guys know her
Mhm.
from How I Met Your Mother and American Pie, if you're, not sure who I'm talking about, the redhead. She plays Willow, and she said they got the script and like, "Oh, this is gonna be a breeze." I watched all the
Mhm.
behind the scenes stuff, obviously. She's like, "This
Mhm.
is gonna be a breeze, we don't have to say anything." And they're all like, "This was the hardest episode we ever had to record because they had to use their bodies to act, they couldn't say anything." 'Cause in
Mhm.
it, the gentleman casts a spell and everybody in the town loses their voice, and they go around and they're cutting people's hearts out. They have to
Wow.
collect, like, 7 hearts, and, yeah, it's a really
Nice.
dark episode and creepy, but, like, there was quite a few very creepy episodes. I mean, this was an episode about killing demons or season show about killing demons and stuff, but this one, whoo, that was really dark, but it was totally deserving of, awards.
Wow. Well, look who's
Yeah.
here. Hello, Demogeny. Always good to see you. And
Hey.
he's yeah, waving at me and waving at you.
Another big Buffy fan. I told you they were gonna flood in.
The Buffies are here. Well, oh, that one time, yes, that I haven't even seen American Pie, and I know all about
Oh,
that.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say when, like, earlier when America said he's a troll, it's like he's the troll that we claim him. He's like the community troll that we all love, but if you mess with any of us, he's gonna get you. He's not
Okay.
like a troll. He's like
He's a pet
he's like
troll.
that he's like our brother. He's
Yeah.
the brother troll that's gonna pick on us, but he's got our backs.
Hello, Taylor Well, not the Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift. Yeah, the one that's been running NFL. Actually, it's not her, it's, whoever's behind it. It's all a psyop. Hello, Flaccid Phoenix. Yeah, we had a lot of fun last night talking Song of Ice and Fire, and I hated it because I had to defend George R. R. Martin because people have been trying to stir up some stuff that's about between him and Tolkien, which isn't really true. So I had to
I've
defend.
seen some of that. So I'm not savvy on all that, but I seen someone in defense say that he's a huge Tolkien fan and
Yeah,
that whatever remark he had said was taken out of context.
yeah,
Hi,
precisely.
Hokies.
Yeah, and that's the reason why no one ever likes to put the source with the remark because part of the context was he was saying he wanted to do that when he read it, so he decided to put that into his works. And he said over and over again, they're different. He said it's the greatest book ever written. So it's manufactured, but go watch the stream because I ranted and raved, and I might actually have to do a video about it. Like I said, I hate that I have to defend the man, but we
But you'd
got
rather instead of, like, doing shock value, you wanna say the truth, which is
yeah,
rare, so stay that way, please. And we
yeah.
need more people like that, because even I get what you're saying, like, you can defend someone that maybe you don't particularly love, like, you could like their work, but maybe not love them so much as a person, but people take stories and run with them, just like,
Mhm.
media does, and I see that all the time. Like another something I saw an example for that. I started watching the One Piece anime because I liked the live action show. I'm like way
Uh-huh.
behind, and I'm skipping fillers because I found a site that tells you which one to skip because there's like a freaking 1,000 episodes of this anime, and that's not an exaggeration.
Uh-huh.
And people were like freaking out over I can't remember her name, but she was like a very large pirate, and she ends up eating one of those fruits. I don't know if you're familiar with the lore behind One Piece, but she eats one of the fruits that makes her like skinny and sexy. And everyone took that picture and were posting online and like, look at them swapping this girl out for a fat lady. And we're like,
Oh,
that's how she
no.
looks in the beginning. Look at her character before she had that fruit that made her that way. So it was accurate. Just little things like that. It's like they run with it. And it's like, do your research first, please.
Mhm. Yeah, well, because then it can undermine all of our credibility when we're really trying to validly criticize.
Exactly.
Because, like it or not, we are all kind of connected. I know we all do our own thing, but, especially with the Rings of Power coming up, where I plan to once again rip them all over the coals, and they all been taking Tolkien out of context. It's like, well, if you're getting mad at them for taking Tolkien out of context, well, then you can't take others, even people you don't like, as he
Yeah.
said. Yeah, I'm glad
Mhm.
you've seen that. I'm glad you saw that some of the countering because it's we have to be on the side of the truth. And if you want to crap all over George R. R. Martin, there's plenty. There's
Oh,
plenty of
yeah.
material. Yeah. And speaking of not George R. R. Martin and not crapping on him or any of that, we have an elf in the house, Lady T. She says her favorites are Giles and Wesley. Oh, Wesley.
Yes. Oh, so yeah. So they're both fantastic. They also both have amazing character growth. Wesley more than Giles. So Giles is the watcher for Buffy. And Wesley ends up coming on because as I said before, when one Slayer dies, another one is called immediately. So in season 1, she drowns, but she's brought back to life by Xander. Like he gives her, mouth to mouth, and then she comes back. But she died. Even if you just die for a second, the other Slayer is called because there always has to be one.
Mhm,
So there ends up being 2 Slayers. That's where Eliza Dushku comes in. She becomes Faith, who's a Slayer, and they kind of work together. She becomes bad for a little bit too. It's a whole thing. That's season 3, which is another great season. So
mhm.
Wesley comes in to be her watcher because Giles is Buffy's watcher, and he's very timid and like, oh no, oh gosh, don't hit me, don't attack me, and he's like very like scared of everything. And then when they bring him on Angel, oh, like he gets almost murdered and like it's intense, but he becomes this like buff, like just badass demon slayer. Um and it's it's right. He his
Faye.
character growth is amazing. Like he basically goes from this timid, I'm terrified of everything to like don't cross me because I'll kill you. Like just total badass. I love Wesley. And he actually married Allison Hannigan, him and Willow. Wesley and Willow end up together and they're still together. They're married with kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, that happens a lot on shows, especially if they're long running. They don't have time to meet other people, so they all just hook up.
Yeah.
So
Well, look at the Spider-Man thing.
mhm.
Oh yeah, Kendra is called before Faith. Yeah. And she's killed. She was great too. I liked Kendra. But yeah, that was in the end of season 2. That's right, because Faith doesn't come until season 3. But she does, but I was just explaining Wesley
Yeah.
because for some reason they didn't bring a watcher in for Kendra. I know she didn't last very long, but there was they just put her kind of with she had a watcher, but like they didn't have one on screen for her, like where she came from. She ends up in Sunnydale. and she thinks that Buffy's like a demon. She's like, "I'm the Slayer," and Buffy's like, "What do you mean I'm the damn Slayer?" And they're like ready to fight, and like she's
Ooh.
confused. Yeah, like 'cause they're like, and then I remember I think Giles like, "Well, you did die." She's like, "Only for a minute." Like,
Oh, jeez. Well,
yeah,
I know there's different kinds of lore about bringing people back from the dead. One I'm thinking of is Pet Cemetery by Stephen King, where if you try to do bring someone back from the dead, it makes them like a weird zombie thing. And
yeah.
I'm like, so apparently in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that's not an issue because especially if Buffy was dead as long as she should have been
Yeah,
decaying a little
well,
bit.
yeah, well, that did happen. So the first time she died, like she said, it was only for a minute because she drowned, and then like Xander, her one of her best friends, found her and he brought her back, and that was more of a realistic could happen in real
Mhm.
life. She just needed to get the water out of her lungs. Um, but yeah, the second time she dies, and they bury her and they show her come back to life. It's because it was done with magic, because Willow becomes this insanely powerful witch, and all of them do like some kind of seance thing to bring her back. And it's actually really sad because they didn't think it worked, but it did. And she was stuck in her coffin in the grave, and she had to like dig herself out. Like, she had to
Hmm.
claw. I mean, she has strength because she's, the slayer, but she like, her fingers were all messed up because she had to, like, claw her way out, and she looked fine,
Oh
but they
my god.
show I know, it's really traumatizing the way she comes back, and she was also in heaven, and she didn't tell them right away, but, like, she was in heaven, she was at peace, and then they brought her back, and that's what she came back to, having to dig herself out of the grave. Pretty dark.
I'd be
Um
pissed off. I'm like, leave me in heaven.
Yeah,
Come
right?
on.
Exactly, and she didn't wanna tell them at first. But yeah, it was, season 6 ended up finding its footing, but it was weird, because, the Slayer was gone and Sunnydale got taken over by all the different demons and stuff, and, yeah, it's such a good show. You definitely
Yeah.
gotta watch it.
It sounds like it Soul Assassin. Yeah, this show sounds pretty
It
dope, better
is
than most shows.
The writing was fantastic. I talked to James Marsters about this, when I met him, and he put input on it too about, so all the writers on Buffy had something to prove, like, they were all new.
Mm.
And not only did they have something to prove, but they actually cared about what they were writing, so they just wrote fantastic. It was just so good. The character like, so when okay, anybody starting the first season 1 is very, very 90s. Like, it's so 90s. It's got that 90s camp, but it's still good. And if that doesn't interest you, I'm telling you, push through it, because once you get to season 2, they got a higher budget because season 1 did better, and it is just, oh, I think season 1 is great, but again, like, you start it and you're like, "Okay, this is true 90s right now." I think it was
Mhm.
1996. Um,
Mm.
yeah, she does eventually tell them that she was in heaven, when they all get cursed. Joss Whedon had always wanted to do a musical, something musical, and he's like, "I have this wonderful cast, so we're gonna do it." And some demon gets called forth and, like, makes them all sing and dance, and it's a musical episode, and she ends up, like, belting out that, she was in heaven, and they're all like like, they're mortified that they took her out of heaven.
Oh, well, yeah, serves you all right. You suck.
Yeah, right? Let her be at peace. Literally killed herself to save the world, you know? Like, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. You beat my head.
No, no, that's quite all right. Yeah, so the one and I've heard that the Once More with Feeling was a great episode, but sadly, it spawned so many bad imitators. I really wish
Yeah.
they hadn't
I
done it.
Yeah, I know. It
I mean,
it
it's not their
did.
fault, I guess that's not fair, but it's just got just
Yeah.
gotten cringe nowadays, and the whole casting a spell, I think they did that in Once Upon a Time, that just hurts so bad. Yeah. Oh, we have the High King Theanor here, the Alpha
Hello.
Chad of Middle Earth, then sacrificed herself.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, she did though. That is what she did. She sacrificed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty deep. That's why I say, like, that's how you write a female character. She had so many flaws. Like I was saying in season 2, when Angel goes bad, a Mary Sue would have just, like, chopped his head off immediately and been done with it, but she feels, like, the pain. Like, there's a scene where she's getting ready to do it, and he's, like, looking her in the eyes, and she just, like, lowers the sword, and he was like, "You can't do it," and he's even egging her on, and she kicks him, like, in the shin or something. It's like, "Give me time." Then she walks away, and they make it kinda funny, but then he ends up killing somebody very close to all of them, and she just feels, like, horrible. She's like, "Oh my god, I could have stopped that." And it's a very ugh, that episode is, very sad.
Hmm. Well, there you go. Oh, we got someone from the future. Potato Revan, greetings from Ireland. Happy Pancake Tuesday. Do you have oil? Do you all have all the pancakes? After this stream, we are in my family. Yes, we're going to do the Pancake Tuesday thing before the clock strikes midnight and Lent hits like a freight train on the same day as Valentine's Day, which should be cruel. But I hope you enjoyed your pancakes. Yeah, we're making proper pancake crepes, and I don't know if they're going to be savory or sweet. I just don't know. I'm just showing up. I don't know if you have that tradition or if you come from any of that kind of European deal where you have the pancakes at the Mardi Gras. That's from Fat Tuesday, the night before.
No, but I should because, I love Mardi Gras. I should start that tradition. I love potatoes.
Oh. Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah, you can have potato pancakes. You can have all kind of pancakes. You can have them fried. You can have them. We put the Nutella with the raspberries, all that good stuff.
All in.
Okay.
Yes.
Demogeny says, when Angel turns back to Angelus, oh boy, that was a roller coaster. Oh, the bad guy, right? Because of
Yep,
his
that
soul.
mhm, yep.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was.
it's funny though what you said. You said that the girls tend to like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then dudes tended to like the angel one.
Angel.
But the angel one sounds
More your thing,
oh
like your I love both. Like, I mean, Buffy's my favorite show. I even have a big tattoo on my back from Buffy.
oh my
I love it. I showed James Marsters it, and he was like, "Badass," kinda, and he's like, "Can I record a video of it?" And I was like, "Sure."
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, but I just because especially the first seasons of Buffy, she's in high school, so not every guy really relates to it, but I do know a lot of guys that love it and watched all of it, and that's how they got introduced to Angel, but, as, like, you know, as they watched them both, they realized, "Okay, like, Angel's that's yep, see, I said that to her before we started, that Angel was basically a Batman show. It was a nice
Mm,
detective show. It's wonderful, I love Angel. Really, spinoffs don't always do well. Angel did fantastic. And I seen Trey said in their Passions his favorite, episode. That is one of my favorite quotes ever. Like, people will ask me my favorite Buffy quote, and it's so long, so I never, like, ramble it on. But he says it throughout the whole episode, and this is the episode that somebody very important to them dies after Buffy couldn't kill him. And he's still obsessed with Buffy, like, after he becomes evil and doesn't have his soul. I can read it to you if you want. I pulled it up so
oh,
that I
go
don't
ahead.
botch
Yeah.
it. Okay, this is like a really deep quote, and like if it wasn't so long, I probably would have got this thing tattooed on me.
Oh,
But it's long. It's a paragraph. I don't think I have enough room
go for
for
it.
this.
Well, yeah, that would
Okay.
hurt. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
that too. All these little words. Yes. So in the episode, he I'm saying the whole quote, it gets said throughout the episode. Like, they'll show him it's him, narrating it, David Boreanaz, and so it starts with he says, "Passion, it lies in all of us, sleeping, waiting, and although unwanted, unbidden, it will stir. Open its jaws and howl. It speaks to us, guides us, passion rules us all, and we obey. What other choice do we have? Passion is the source of our finest moments, the joy of love, the clarity of hatred, the ecstasy of grief. It hurts sometimes more than we can bear. If we could live without passion, maybe we'd know some kind of peace. But we would be hollow, empty rooms, shuttered and dank. Without passion, we'd be truly dead." That's it.
Mm,
And it ends with him, like, Buffy's asleep and he sneaks into her room and he's like caressing her face. Like, and he could have killed her. That's the thing too.
mhm,
Like, he's the evil one at that time. And instead of killing her, he's sitting there stroking her face while she's asleep
hmm.
because and that's what he says, like, we obey. What other choice do we have? Like, he's obeying his passion for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
Oh, no, you're cutting out. You got a little bit robotic for me. Is that on my end, chat, or is what's happening? Was it an internet
it
spike?
it might be
Oh,
mine.
you're
Can you
back.
hear me now? Yeah,
Yes,
stupid
you're back.
internet. Creepy. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it happens.
could be interpreted that way. I'm sure the context makes it work really well, but that's been the big joke from Twilight because Edward always
Yes.
would do that. Well, sounds like everything you're telling me, how much other shows, books, teenage, young adult literature, or I shouldn't call it literature, books ripped off from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because what you're
Oh, a lot.
talking about, it it's like, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. That's ridiculous. What a bunch of losers that
Yeah,
they
so, as much as I
ruined it.
love like, Buffy has, like, that dark comedy where they'll take I mean, there's a lot of sadness in it, but they'll take some certain moments and make a joke out of it. It worked well for Buffy, but we kinda have to blame Buffy for the Marvel effect. What the
Uh,
Marvel movies do, where they make too much of jokes out of, serious moments where it's overdone. I think we can blame Buffy for that, but you know what? It worked for Buffy, but it
yeah.
doesn't quite work for it's been way overdone in Marvel, in my opinion, way overdone.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, objectively speaking, we can't blame Buffy for
Yeah.
doing something so well. It's like the Matrix. Uh, how many people copied the Matrix? It's
Exactly.
yeah. But wow. Well, that sounds really, really cool. And so I don't know if I've quite done the math correctly. So if you were to add up all the seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the spin-off and other little movies, about how much would that come out to be? How many seasons approximately?
So, let's see, Angel had 4 seasons.
Okay.
And Buffy had 7, right? Let me just I should know because I've watched it all, but it all just kind of blends together for me. Yeah, Buffy went from 1997 to 2003. And Angel started after the end of season 3. So when Buffy started and that's another reason they did it like this. Season 4 is when Buffy starts high
Mhm.
school and like, Giles is like, okay, kind of like lets her be on her own and she's becoming an adult. Her friends are busy because they're all doing the college thing. Oh, Angel did have 5, you're right. So 12 altogether. You know what? They're actually still writing Buffy stuff. I just don't keep it. So I kept up with the graphic novels for a bit.
Mhm.
But the writing, as most writing happens these days, got a little like, they turned Buffy gay and all that in the
Oh,
comics. So I'm like,
what?
okay, yeah, of course, yeah. So it's technically still going on, but if we're gonna just go with the you know, basics, yeah, 5 Angel, 7 uh for Buffy. And there was the Buffy movie that was, Joss did create that, but that was that in the 80s? I think that was in the 80s
Um,
with Christy Swanson. Um
could have been. Yeah, so it's not connected. So I don't need to like watch the movie first
No,
before I
I mean,
watch
you
the
can if
TV
you
show.
want. If you want some cheesy, like, 80 like, it's okay, like, I get people all the time, like, only a couple, but they'll be like, "The movie was better, the movie was better," and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I gotta disagree with you. I'm thankful for the movie because the show wouldn't exist without it, and Joss even said, like, he got to do what he wanted with the show that he didn't get to do with the movie. You can't really compare 7 seasons of 40-minute episodes each to a hour and 30-minute movie, like, there's just so much more time to do development for people, in just Buffy herself and all that time. So, yeah, I've only watched the movie once, just because I'm like, I'm a Buffy fan. I should probably watch the movie. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. Tracy's a
1992.
baby.
Baby, everyone was babies, oh gosh.
Babies.
I was a freshman in college, and, okay, love the movie, plus Howard Hesseman, okay. 19 I was 17 in '97, feels old, man. Well, I'm older than you, so
So,
here we go. The
what
year I
I
got
will s
married, oh boy.
yeah, I didn't hate the movie, but I think the show is very superior. But
Mhm,
again, like, they had so much time to develop the characters, give you more time to care, and like the characters. And they added new characters that are amazing. So if you want to go down the Buffy rabbit hole and, get into it, I would say at the end of season 3, you might want to start Angel because then you could like watch a Buffy and Angel because there is a couple crossovers, but then it stops. Um, but I don't know if you just want to watch Buffy all the way through and then Angel, but if you are itching to start Angel, I would do it, at the end of season 3 of Buffy because that's when he leaves to go to Los Angeles. Because she's in
okay,
Sunnydale, which is a fake town, which is in California, but it's like, it's not LA. It's
mhm,
kinda far away, I guess. I don't know the distance. I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet, but yeah, he goes to LA.
okay, well, yeah, well, it sounds to me like the movie and the TV show, I think you've already said it's apples and oranges. It's
Yeah,
you
it
yes, you
is.
just
Like, there's
can't.
some similarities, like, she her mom takes a job in Sunnydale because Buffy burns down, uh, she
Mhm.
burns down the gymnasium at her high school,
Oh my.
but she can't say, it's because of vampires, like, they say it, like, it's on her record, and she gets to her new school in Sunnydale, and the principal's like, "You burned down your gymnasium." She's like, "But you don't understand. It was full of asbestos." Like, she's gonna say vampires, and, like, she can't say it, so it's funny. Like, I think you'll appreciate it. If you appreciate 80s and 90s humor and just, like, that vibe, you'll definitely love Buffy.
Yeah. Well, Rutger Hauer, at least for the movie, and you just sold me there because anything with Rutger Hauer, of course, I love him. May he rest in peace. Okay, and they didn't do any TV movies either, if I'm correct. Did I hear you correctly?
Oh, yeah, no, it was just the 7 seasons of Buffy and then the 5 of
Okay.
Angel.
Alright, yeah, I've seen in some secondhand bookstores some novels, not graphic novels, but actual novels. Uh,
Yeah, there is some. I actually seen some on Audible, because
yeah,
so a couple one the one girl's name is Tara, Amber Benson, I think is her name. Her and Carissa Carpenter and James Marsters and a couple of, like, originals from we'll say the Buffyverse, they, got together and they made a little story, of them in an alternate universe where Cordelia becomes the Slayer. Buffy's not in it or anything, and I listened to it and it was actually a nice story. It's
hmm,
basically, I mean, it's basically starring Spike and Cordelia, and I freaking love them. So it was a nice. It's only on Audible, but it was. I actually was very. I liked it. If they do another one, I'll probably buy that too.
okay.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's exactly canon, but you could. It could be. They pay respect to the original source material.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I
I
guess
appreciate
you could
that.
take it or leave it. If you want it to be
Exactly.
canon, you can. If not, it's not. Christy Swanson, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. So I
I
didn't know.
know. The last
Yeah.
movie I remember watching her in was Big Daddy, and that was even, like, what, 2000, like, 2 or
Uh,
something? Or was that even still the '90s? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Everybody Google. Everybody
Trey, we don't need to
Google.
Google it, we got Trey.
Oh,
Forget
yeah, that's
Google.
true. Trey is Google.
He
So
is.
all right. Well, before we go into our infamous Rule 7, I always throw it over to my guest. Is there anything you want to say about Buffy the Vampire Slayer that you just want to just let it rip, just let it happen. Let us hear all about it.
Yeah, I've kinda already covered it a little bit, but nowadays, I always use this, I did a stream before talking about strong women characters. I've growing up, I always loved I think a lot of us girls do, we love strong, like, femme fatales, really well-written, strong female characters, and saying that now, people are like, "Oh, strong woman." It's like, "No, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean, like, what we get now." Looking at Buffy, it shows how you need to write female characters. They can't be perfect. They gotta have flaws because you can't relate to it. I mean, the same goes for men too. They need to have flaws. They need to be relatable. And that's something that Buffy had, and we're lacking it so much in modern media, modern movies, and all of that. So if you have not watched Buffy, I highly suggest it. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. You just be like, Wicked was right. You're gonna say Wicked was right. I'm telling you. I'm right. This show is fantastic. Anybody that I put onto it was just like, wow. And I'm like, I told you I wouldn't steer you. I always tell it to Trey. When I tell Trey to watch something, he'll be like, I don't know. I'm like, do I ever steer you wrong? He's like, all right. He's like, "All right,
Yeah.
Buffy." That's the example that he uses. So, it's just such a perfect blend, especially if you're into fantasy. Not every show can do Monster of the Week so well, and they do. They always incorporated it in with real life issues happening, especially with teenagers and stuff. And then as she gets older, they do the same thing, like just real problems that people have, and it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you mad. You're gonna feel all the emotions. So just that's
Yeah.
my pitch. Go watch Buffy and
Okay.
Angel.
Yeah, and Snort Poop is Wicked is right. Take a bear's word for it, and bears never lie. Hashtag Wicked is right.
Yes, we're gonna get that trending. I wonder how many people if I get even one person, which I'm sure I will, because I've been bugging Americus about it. Americus met freaking Glory from season 5, one of the best villains. He put a picture in my Discord, and I'm like, "Do you know who you're standing next to?" And he does, and he didn't. He's like, "Nope." Because he never watched the show. So I know if I get at least one person that walks away from this watching full Buffy and Angel, my work is done. I did
Oh,
my job.
all right. Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, you sold me. So
Well,
well
there you
done.
go.
Well done. I mean,
Yes.
and and even a good show, even if you've been spoiled, it doesn't matter.
No.
It's still fun and it's still all good times. All right. Well,
Mhm.
let's go ahead and go into the roll 7. As I always tell people, people in the chat may of course participate as well. I have a D20 and it corresponds to 20 different questions and we do it 7 times open ended. You can get as serious or as not serious as you like.
Okay.
Though I do think it's funny now that you mentioned Wicked is right because of the Wicked trailer that came out during Super Bowl. Maybe you could trend. People will accidentally
I
think you're,
know.
but that'd be a good way, right? And then it's
I
like,
know,
no,
I keep seeing, like, "Is Wicked woke?" I'm like, "I am not."
no.
"What?" Like, I know what they're talking about, but, like, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's right."
Yeah. Well, what those tweets that you see where people go, "While you're here, why don't you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?" Well, you think Wicked is
Well,
right.
since I've gotcha.
Exactly. 17. Oh, whoops. Okay. What's the most immature thing you do?
Immature thing I do,
Mhm.
um, probably acting like, I liked I really like to we'll say the for lack of better term, I like to bust my friends' balls, and, like, some of my guy friends probably get annoyed by it because, like, I act like the guys with that, and, like
Ah,
and I do things like laugh at fart jokes and stuff. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. I laugh really hard at fart jokes, and that's probably very immature, but it's me. We're gonna go
okay.
with that.
All right. Well, hey, we all I don't know why they're funny, but they are. Uh, um laugh at the word bitch. Oh,
True.
okay.
That could be
Oh,
taken wrong, like he's saying us to laugh, like, "Laugh at that word," and then call us. Oh, Trey.
immature me never far. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There we go.
exactly. There wouldn't be whoopee cushions if people didn't think it was
That
funny.
farts were funny, yeah.
Yeah. What is the most annoying habit other people have?
I kinda feel bad about this, and, like, when someone's actually sick, I don't get too annoyed, but when people like, just sniff a lot and it's like, constantly, I'm like, "Okay, go get a tissue. Okay, can you please go get a tissue? I can't take it anymore."
Oh,
And like I said, when someone's really sick, I don't get, I let it slide. I'm not gonna get mad at you for being sick. But if you're just sitting there and you got a little bit of a stuffy nose and you just keep sniffing, I'm be like, "Here, do you need a tissue?" And then like we're like, "Oh no, I'm good." I'm like, "No, you're not. You need a tissue,
no.
please. Please blow
Yeah,
your
get a
nose."
tissue, yeah, or just
Yeah.
hand them one.
I've done that plenty. People that know me know, and they look at me like, "Okay,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Biggles, blow
it's
your
fine.
nose."
Yeah, Beagles say, shit, it's like, "Yeah, blow your nose." Ladies have vapors, they don't fart. Well, no, yes, that's completely true. Liking Mazda, that's immature. Another one I do, that's what she said. Oh, yeah, that's funny. And sniffling, she hates me. Sort of
Calm
people
down, Biggles.
constantly talking over when I talk and not letting me talk over them.
Yeah.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
just all keep raising our voices more so to get heard.
Oh, music reactors on YouTube, they annoy me. Yeah.
It depends. Reactions annoy me. Like when people just like sit there and make faces and they take someone else's content and they just like make
Mhm.
stupid faces like, "Oh my god, is that really happening?" type faces. It's like that's not funny. Your
Yeah, it's
content
fake.
is kind
Yeah.
of yeah, like if you do good reactions, like I'll say flawed, him and his girl do music reactions, but like they're feeling it, right? And they really
Mhm.
give like in depth how they feel about it. That's good. That's how you should do reactions, not just like listening to a song or looking at somebody's you know, some funny TikTok or something they did and you're just making a funny face. Like, okay, no,
Yeah. Though
stop
I
that.
think Courtney Ward is saying about when they constantly pause during a song, though that might be possible because they might be trying
YouTube.
yeah, they might be trying to avoid a copyright strike. I'm still too
Mhm.
scared to do anything like that because I do enjoy the classical ones. Those are really, really good, and they're also very educational for people that maybe don't get what's going on. I saw a really good one also using John Williams's music, so there we go. Asking me to hurry up when I'm on time. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's like,
Ugh.
"Screw you." Alright.
Yeah, I hate that too.
If you could have dinner with one famous person, who would it be and why?
Is this like the dead or alive question, or they have to be alive? I mean,
It
obviously
could
they
be
have to
dead
be,
or
but
alive.
I always say, Audrey Hepburn this question because I just think she was a fantastic human. I would love to just sit down and listen to what she has to say because not only were her movies wonderful, but she was, a humanitarian. She helped and she was big with helping children, which that's how I wanna be too, like, with any charity. I actually will be doing a charity stream, within the next couple weeks here, and it's for a children's, charity, and her story is just fantastic, and then a lot of people don't know that. They look at her and like, "Oh, she was that pretty face in that movie," but she
Mhm,
had so much more depth to her. She was a part of the war, like, she was, during the, had to have been, like, the Holocaust time. She
mhm,
was a courier, like, to help people, like, letters back and forth and she was putting herself in danger and she was like, I don't know, she was like a child and she was, doing her part to help, the Jewish people and stuff. And it was just to me, that's
mhm,
just an amazing life. If I and I would also say I hate this too. I would say Robin Williams too, but he's
mhm.
also gone. He would be just I don't think I even have to explain that one. People just know
Yeah,
Robin Williams would be an amazing person to sit down and have a dinner with.
yeah, he just have y'all just laughing your
Cracking
butt
up.
off. Yeah.
Yes.
Trey Courtney says Freddie Mercury. Yeah, John
Oh,
Williams,
yeah.
yes, he is the GOAT movie score.
Yep.
Alicia Silverstone, Biggles makes time to make her fall in love. Oh,
Oh
dear.
God.
J.R. Tolkien. Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Love to talk to him. Though he wasn't always too keen about talk analysis of his works, and I'd be like, "Dang it, I wanna do that." Okay, Stan Lee. Stan Lee, that'd be a good one. Oh, hell yeah, Christopher Lee. With that voice, he saw some stuff in World War
Yeah.
II. Mhm. Alright, well, that's cool. We love Audrey Hepburn. And oh, wait, we've already done that one. Get a lottery ticket. I always say that when you get the same numbers.
Yeah.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
Worst piece of advice I've ever been given. Uh, I've probably been given quite a few bad advices. Let me see. Um, I think it probably had to do with like love life stuff. So I feel like everyone's
Mm,
got an opinion on that, but it's definitely not a black and white thing. It's different for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
mhm,
so I think this is like an older generation thing. So I'm just gonna go with this. I had my mom's friend who was actually even older than her. She's like in her 60s, who would say like, if after like a couple of years, like a guy doesn't propose, that you should dump him. 'Cause, like, you're just playing house, that's what she said, and I'm like this was, like, when I was younger, teenage years, she gave me this
mhm,
advice. I'm like, "Oh, okay," and, like, I didn't take the advice, but, I listened to her, and I just don't think that's right because not everybody wants to rush, like, it's very again, it's not black and white, so I don't think that's good advice to give somebody because like, what if, a young woman listens to that and she lets go of, like, an amazing guy and then ends up marrying someone who's trash just because he asked sooner? You know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
so
Yeah,
I don't think that's the best advice. It doesn't work for everybody. Now, if you're with someone for like 20 years and you wanna get married and they haven't proposed, then, maybe it's time
yeah.
to move away. But after just like a couple years, that's a little soon. Some people I think you don't know anybody until you live with them.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, and especially nowadays, people are so um, I shouldn't say immature, but I think they are a little more immature. The other generation had to grow up really quick, really fast. They were growing up in like the depression, or they turned 18 and next thing you know they're fighting real Yazis, in Germany in World War
yeah.
II. They had it was a different time. And our
Mhm.
generation also, I think, has a phobia of marriage, if you will, because of so much high divorce, and so people are afraid, they're
Yes.
like, "No, I really wanna be sure." Now, I agree with you about, like, 20 years and stuff, and there is some truth, especially for women, if you wanna have children. Yeah, you can't
Mhm.
just sit and fool around too long, but, yeah, I think the older generation doesn't quite get the way it is. Mm,
No. No, I know she was coming from a good place with that, but even like,
mhm,
teenage you was like, thanks, but I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do."
yeah. Well, and not only that, you said so. no one knows what's going on in your life. No one's walking in your shoes, and
Mhm.
it's like, I'm really, really glad that worked out for you because you're you.
Exactly, and I'm me, so we're 2 different people. Yeah,
Yeah, 2
it's
different
yeah.
yeah, with
A
different
lot
times, different places,
especially,
different
like,
names.
the older generation, they do look at a lot of things as black and white, but there's a gray area with almost everything, especially these days, the times are just so different.
Yeah. Well, I remember explaining to my mom, and I was a teenager in the '80s and early '90s, and they used to be like, "Why don't you girls, like, just date more?" I mean, we would just go out on a date, and it was just no big deal. Doesn't mean you wanna marry the guy or anything. And then, like, 15 years later, I told my mom because you didn't wanna rat out your friends. I'm like, "Listen, nowadays, a first date means you're expected to give a B with a J." And she'd be like,
Mhm.
"What?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're expected to do things on the first date." She's like, "No."
She's
And
probably
I was like, "Yeah, but we
horrified.
weren't gonna tell because" it's like, "Well, your friends weren't doing that, were they?" And I'm like, "Yes." Or, that it meant sexual activity. And,
Mhm.
we can argue about how long to wait and all that, but, it really became it's really like first date kind of material now, and they
Yes.
just had no idea, but you didn't wanna rat out your friends because you didn't
No.
want them calling their parents and all sorts of stuff. It's like, yes, that's how different it is. Like, back when you were young, first of all, there was, your big brothers would beat the crap out of the guy, but there was more fear of pregnancy back then
Yeah.
too. Um,
Mhm.
different time, so,
Yep.
yeah. What's next? We have what fictional character do you wish was real?
Ooh, fictional character that I wish was real. Let me think. I probably shouldn't say anybody from Buffy because then that would mean that vampires and stuff would be real, and I don't want that. We don't need that running around in this. We have enough problems.
Mhm.
Um,
Or
let me
wish were
think.
real. Yeah.
You wish were real. Dang.
Grammar police. Don't
uh,
get me.
I'm gonna go with
Mhm.
a Robin Williams character. I'm
Oh,
gonna go with Peter. His Peter exactly, like his specifically Peter Pan. That would be
oh.
nice. I love Hook. That's another tattoo. When he passed, about a year after he passed, I got a Bangarang tattoo in Peter Pan green, and I'm gonna get his gold
Oh.
sword added to it from Hook. Yeah, oh gosh, I love, Rob I mean, you can see the 2 things I love in my
Yeah.
profile picture here. You can see
Yeah.
Buffy and Robin Williams.
Oh, that's
Um
amazing.
so yeah, I'm gonna go with that because he was like, of course he was like that, stern businessman, but he turned to just be this wonderful person. So we're gonna go with Robin Williams, Peter Pan.
Okay,
Faith for
same.
reason. Okay, Trey, thanks for bringing vampires into the world. If Faith's here, that means there's vampires. He doesn't care. He doesn't
Yeah.
care. He needs Faith.
Frodo Baggins, Aragorn, Gandalf, Faramir, Prince of Power. Yeah, well, definitely Faramir. Yeah, for me, it'd be Faramir or Mr. Darcy, but in a world where they're single. Because, Mr. Darcy marries Lizzie and Faramir marries Eowyn, but no, they're single and they're ready to marry me. That's the version I would have to have. Yeah, she sadly caught she got a cold and it turned into pneumonia and tragically passed. And I'm here to mend your heart.
I'm here for you, boo.
Yeah, exactly, especially Mr. Darcy, man, that mansion, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, Pemberley,
Gotta love a
and
strong chin.
oh, yeah. Gandalf, maybe you could straighten things out, yeah,
You laughing at us, Trey? Or
yeah,
not Trey, Hokies. He has 2 names. He's Herschel's Hokies.
yeah, for a female, I'd settle for Eowyn, yeah, dudes like her, yeah, if you're talking Lord of the Rings. Well, Aragorn is the epitome of masculinity. Okay, what would you do with $1,000,000?
I'm gonna be boring. Well, no, I'm not gonna be too boring. So I would
Mhm.
definitely buy a house, but not like some huge mansion. Like I'm not trying to clean 12 rooms. Uh, just a nice house though. Get that paid off. Obviously put some into savings, but then I'm going to Europe. I'm going to
Ooh,
Italy. Italy, Ireland, they're top on there. I want to go. So that's I guess it's not super boring, but like I know because I know what I already want to do. So if I had $1,000,000, I'm doing it.
oh, well, I told you, and this has been something with Drunk 3PO. I've told him eventually one of these days we're all gonna meet up in Dublin, and I'll show him around Ireland. We'll rent a car, and you can join. We'll all just meet up at the airport, and I'll show you the non-touristy places and all the beautiful
Oh, that would be
beautiful
wonderful.
things.
I'm planning on I was actually talking to X-Ray Girl about it. She's been to
Mhm.
Ireland. She's told us one story. She's like, "Have you ever rang in the new year at a little bar in Ireland with a priest?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "I have." I'm like, "What? Tell me more
Oh,
about this story. I need to know more." So I'm talking to her about it. Like, we want to go to Ireland, and
yeah. Oh,
that would
girl.
be great. And we want Disparu to meet up with us too because he's not that far. So yeah, you got to come to then show us the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. But also, like in Ireland, it's not unusual. For example, everyone goes to mass, and then afterwards, everyone goes to the pub, including the priest. It's a thing. And of course, when I was a kid, they were all lighting up cigarettes. I don't. They're not allowed to anymore. So, but yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, of course, I'm biased towards Ireland, and I've been to Italy once. It was great, but my goodness, crowded. A
Very
lot of the.
touristy. Yeah, I just
Mhm,
watched a video on that where they it's like not that they hate the tourists, but they're just like I think Italy has certain places that you have to like pay to get in, which it's not because they're being like greedy, it's because they're trying to help with the overflow of tourism, like so many people. And there was people that was it the Colosseum? I can't remember. Is
yeah.
that no, that's not that's in Greece, isn't it?
No,
Wait,
that's
is
in
that
Rome.
in
That's in
that's in
Rome.
Rome. Oh, that is in Rome. Okay, I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm thinking of freaking Hercules. Oh my god. Anyways, people, like, were carving their name on it and taking pictures, and they got caught because they put it on Instagram, and it's like, "How dare you touch such a historical piece of, structure like, architecture?" Like,
Mhm.
ugh, people are so dumb.
Yeah. Well, and of course, I went to there and went to the Vatican. I went to mass with the Pope, John Paul II. So you don't know the meaning of the word "a crowd" until you've
Oh.
done St. Peter's Square. Oh, Demonjanite wants to join us. My smart me says, "I would love to go to Ireland. My great grandmother was Irish." Hell yes,
Yeah,
hell
I'm actually everyone thinks that I'm mostly Italian, but I'm not, I'm mostly Irish. My mom,
yes.
was Irish and Italian, and my dad's Irish and Puerto Rican, so, I mean,
Oh,
if you mix that together, I'm mostly Irish. I used to have natural red highlights in my hair. My great grandma was, like, a full-on ginger.
oh. Well, do you know what part?
No, I don't. So my I think my great grandma on I don't know much about my grandma's side from my mom's, but I know that her dad had family. I never met them. I was 7 months when they died. Unfortunately, they both died the same month. So I never got to really know a lot about their heritage and stuff. I wish my mom would have asked
Mhm.
more questions. I know I would have. I would have been asking so many
Oh,
questions. Like if my grandpa would have stayed alive, I would know how to speak Italian right now too because he's fluent in that. And like, mom, how come you don't
mm.
know Italian? My dad doesn't know Spanish either, and his father barely spoke English, and I'm like, "How?
Oh,
You guys"
oh,
I
damn.
could know I mean, they're kind of the same. I know, like, a Spanish, or Puerto Rican could, hold up a conversation with an Italian because their very languages are very similar.
Yeah, they're
Um,
both same both Romance languages. I've
yeah.
near the Canary Island I've been to the Canary Islands, yes, they're great. Fairy yeah, yeah, don't say that word while you're there, yeah, it's so funny, everyone's always like, "Ah, yeah, we all know it's not real," but then you're kind of, "Hmm," and suddenly you're just not saying the word, you're saying the people and the good folk and all of that, yeah, I love it, yeah, no, I was from Cork, that's where I
I'll get back to you on that. I'll see if maybe one of my older aunts, like my mom was a baby too, so she just
mm,
kinda was like, what's going on?" Like she didn't ask questions and stuff. She just was the baby of 7 kids. So,
yeah.
I'll see if one of my older like aunts or uncles, if they know anything, and I'll see if I can get some info out of them. Like, where's everyone from? I didn't know this.
Ah, that's cool. Oh, before we go into the question, then Majnai says my best friend was Puerto Rican and didn't speak a lick of Spanish, but he could understand it. Yeah, yeah, that's the same way I am with.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, the Irish language, I understand it more than I can speak it. Unless it's all the things teachers would yell at you. Um, all right, so we have oh wait, we've already done that. My gosh, get another lottery ticket. I think this is the last one. I need to get one of those little counter things. Okay, this is what ooh, sorry. I'm like flattering myself at loving these questions. What is the title of the current chapter in your life?
Ooh, let's see, the current title of the current chapter of my life. Hmm, that's a really good question. That's one I've never heard before. I'm gonna go with Fearless. Because I'm like this year, I'm trying to be a bit more like fearless and you know, just live more in the moment and do more of what I want without really questioning it too much. Just like, you know what, I want to do this. Nothing bad, obviously, but like
Mhm.
fun stuff. Like, you know what, I want to take this trip. I'm going to do it. I want to go to this place. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to be too critical of myself for it. So I think fearless, it's short, but you know, it's my fearless chapter in life.
Okay, well, no, that's awesome. I know that's a great place to be. Trey Courtney's is rebuilding, and chapter 60, avoid the nuts. Yeah. Well, I always say I keep wanting to change my title because right now it's FML, but it really is. 'Cause I'm
Well, hey,
trying to
sometimes it's like that. I've had that chapter. I'm sure that chapter will come up, FML part 2 anytime.
yeah. So, well, I'm just in a current place where it's not actually not my life that's bad. It's everyone else's that I love whose life is bad, and trying
Oh,
to help them through some really rough times. But gosh,
and
like I said, girl, we're gonna get a castle. You can freaking rent a castle for the night.
yes,
We
I
all
need to.
chip
So
it in.
I'm heavy into the pirate stuff too, which is that's like all the pirate so I wanna see Grace O'Malley's castle. She has one in Ireland. I
Mhm.
know there's other ones, but that's just like one of the most famous ones I can think of right now. I
Yeah.
know I've seen pictures of it. It's kind of like broken, but I want to go and just touch it. Just want to touch it and
Oh
take a
hell
picture of
yeah!
it.
But a lot of the things are ruins because of Cromwell. I'm pointing my finger
Uh,
at you, Cromwell. You suck. And everything that happened, of course, to the Irish in the 16th century, 17th century, 18th, 19th, and some of the 20th, and who knows, maybe even the 21st. But like, I have a friend, my best friend, her boyfriend, and when she was in high school, in the backyard, he had a real friggin' castle. Like it was a tower castle,
ooh.
and they ran a B&B. And they we used to all play around in it. So yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff like that that you don't even know, and they're open to the public because they're like many of them are historical treasures. But yeah, you can rent them like on Airbnb, and yeah, you got to fork out the dough. But if you get enough people, you can do that. So that's the next chapter of our lives. We're all going to Ireland. Just wait for it. So,
Yes.
alrighty. Well, we have gotten to the end of our pub crawl and our roll sevens. Can you please tell us where we can find you and what you have coming up?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you like to call it. I think I will forever call it Twitter because it's just hard to switch it. So I'm on there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on my Wicked Virtue YouTube channel and Kick. I play a lot of games, and I just seen Soul Assassin drop the History of Pirates link on there. I do a
Yay.
podcast on there every other Monday with Jay, Drunk 3PO, and X-Wing, King's Advisor. Sometimes Capable Gentleman joins us. It's a really good time. We just did a stream yesterday talking about the movie Master and Commander. Wonderful
Mm,
movie if you haven't watched it. Very historically accurate for how it was to be on just on a ship uh back then.
yeah.
So highly suggest checking that out. And I even just started a second channel called Wicked Manja, and I'm gonna be eating and cooking and trying new foods and doing just all the food stuff over there. I have
Girl.
one little short on there. So I put it out there though, because I'm like, you guys will hold me accountable and be like, post content on there, Wicked. And I will.
Mhm.
I'm gonna like just do short little recipes, live streams of like, I'm in Florida, so if I'm not in Orlando yet, but I do plan on moving closer to there. So theme park stuff, I go there once in a while. I may be there for Mardi Gras at Universal, so I'll try some, the New Orleans food, and I'll pop it up there. So yeah, I'm kind of everywhere. Miss Martin
Mm.
Muse, we were talking about it before we started. She's like, you got a busy schedule, and she's right, I do.
Yeah.
But I love it. I like to keep busy.
Oh, for sure. And, I love seeing it and love seeing everything that you're doing growing. And wow, it's just been really entertaining. I, of course, want to thank the chat because without the chat, I'm nobody and we're nobody. All the people that support our channels and how we all support each other. You are all the MVPs. We have
Yes.
Lady T, we have Soul Assassin, John Sue, Hokies 95. We have Trey Courtney being our personal Google, Snortopoopas Cooper. I think I said Psychotic Mongoose, Biggles Metz, Demogeny, Meteor Advocate Timon, Sean Su, and many, many, many others. If I missed you, it is not intentional. There's just been so many that have been coming in and out and really making this an awesome chat. And there's one I don't know how to pronounce his name, the big long name. So yes, thank you for being here. And now, wait, what's the LOL? Oh, something like going on there. Good journey, everyone, says Lady T. There it is, Azure Room 66. I'm new here. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And if you wouldn't mind giving me a like, share, and a subscribe, but definitely subscribe because I'm in
Yes.
that journey to 1,000, and then I'm done. Then I'm done. Then I don't need to worry about anything.
55 away. Let's get her there, guys. Yeah, I just call him Azur. He's great. He sent me
Azure.
a
Okay.
Peter Pan book that I absolutely
Oh,
love.
girl.
Yes. Oh, love it. He
Yeah, one
knows
of
me
these
well.
yeah, one of these days behind the scenes, I need to talk with you about some of that Once Upon a Time stuff because I used to work, not with them, but I was a Disney shill actually, but it was all a very respectful relationship, that we all
Oh,
had. So I but here's the thing, when you have real sources, you don't actually reveal them. You know what I mean?
exactly. And that's
It's
that's
like, "Hey,"
smart.
we're gonna respect each other and respect people's privacy, but many, many showrunners and the like will have very positive relationships with fan sites, and this whole phenomenon of like what we saw with Rings of Power, all that kind of stuff, that where it's almost bribery. That's a bit of a new phenomenon. It used to be a bit better, but I digress. But when you said Peter Pan, it just reminded me, oh girl, there's so much we could talk about, but maybe for
Yes.
another day. So thank you.
Oh, the
Thank you.
adventures we'll have.
Oh gosh, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, and girl, I mean, we go we go to Kinsale, St. James Fort, a
Yes.
ruin, and dress like pirate girls and run around with
Oh, that's
rum in
my
our
thing.
hands, yeah. Yeah, I don't drink anymore, but I can have fake rum. So, I
Yeah.
can have Coke in my I'll be like nerdrotic, I'll
You
I'll
can have
be
a
the
mocktail.
I'll be the one with the mocktails, exactly. And, well, now they have non-alcoholic Guinness, which is kind
Oh,
of
well, there you
okay.
go.
Yeah, so there
There
we
you
are.
go.
So I'm starting to digress, but of course you can find me here at Miss Martin Muses, where we talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. And I kind of gave a hint of what's been really ticking me off because I had to defend George R. R. Martin, but I have much other things going on. We're going to do some more narcissism tomorrow because everyone loves a narcissist. Actually, no, we don't. We're going to learn a little bit about him. And then Thursday, Mr. Grant Gregory from Down Under will be our guest on Pub
Grant.
Crawl.
I
Yay!
love
About the same
Grant.
time. Yeah, I think when I say about the same time, I'm still trying to transfer it in our heads. But the plan is, I believe, either 4 Central or 5 Central. Either way, just make sure the bell is rung. We're going to be having Fatal J in the house a
Ooh.
week after that. And many, many musings and many, many guests and surprises upcoming. So thank you, everyone. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
guys for hanging out. Make sure you're subscribed over here. Let's get her to 1K.
Yeah, thank you. And then everyone, of course, subscribe and follow Wicked Virtue. She is a
Thank you.
treasure, and we love her here at Miss Martin Muses. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be
Bye.
certain to watch Buffy the Vampire
Yes, you
Slayer.
better. I will haunt you if you
Yeah.
don't. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
you don't
Bye,
want to be
guys.
haunted by her. She's
Don't get
not
on
as
my
nice
bad
when she's a
side.
ghost.
Just because I'm short doesn't mean anything.
Darn right. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.